A new video got released by GameSpot about Baldur's Gate 3, and it also includes a few snippets of an interview with Swen Vincke, the director and CEO of Larian Studios. And in this video he teases a few things about the story and what the major importance is about the mysterious artifact that Shadowheart wields. So while it's not really a spoiler alert, be aware for a few teasers. Oh, and patch 8 has surfaced up in SteamDB's history, which means that patch 8 could be coming soon, so subscribe if you don't want to miss any news about Baldur's Gate 3. So the video starts basically that Baldur's Gate 3 is just like a D&D campaign, which makes sense because it's based on Dungeons & Dragons itself. But since there's no DM, the game takes it over to guide you. But of course the game is made by the developers themselves, and especially Swen Vincke since he's the director of this game. So let's just say he's basically the dungeon master for Baldur's Gate 3. But Sven has a plan for the story, and while we don't know much yet where it's going to take us, he says that the artifact that Shadowheart carries plays a big role in it. But just like any D&D game, he doesn't want to force it upon the players. It should really feel like a choice, instead of shoving it down in your throat. But this design philosophy, which is really awesome, still brought a lot of problems for the developers. And the biggest problem is you getting that artifact. If they really wanted to force it upon the players, let's just say you wake up in the beginning area and the boat floats right into your hands and that's it. But they want to make it feel like a choice, so they decided that Shadowheart carries it and really teases the box itself. So of course you can free Shadowheart now in the Nodaloid ship, and you immediately see the box that she carries if you do it. And if you find her later on the beach, you again see the artifact lying on the ground next to her. And it's more about this item than about Shadowheart herself, because if she's in your party, it's done, you basically have the artifact with you. Or if you decide, well, to kill her, that's also okay, because then the artifact belongs to you now. And if you don't decide to free Shadowheart from the Nodaloid ship, she's the first origin character you encounter on the beach near the door. Basically everywhere you go, Shadowheart is there to meet you. But what if you decide to ignore her, on the ship as well on the beach? Well, then she just waits for you in the Druid Cove. But what if you ignore her there as well? Well, then she just stumbles upon you in the camp or something. Okay, but what if you somehow manage to ignore her altogether? Well, then she just happens to be there at the right moment at the right time to save you if that one cutscene pops up. But keep in mind, every single one of those possibilities requires writing, voice acting, animation, motion capture, different choice outcomes, basically a lot. But why? Why does Larian Studios do this? Why don't you just start with the item when you begin the game? Well, there's only one simple answer. Sven doesn't want that. He cares so much about player agency, and just like I said earlier, he doesn't want to force it upon the players to have it. It should feel like a choice, and it really does pay off. Because this approach is insane, and I can't explain well enough how awesome this is. Instead of choosing the simple option, they work so hard to deliver the right feeling this game should have, just like the feeling of choice you would have in a D&D game. But instead of improvising an outcome, everything has to be prepared. Let's just listen what Sven has to say about this.
This is a story about a literally insane amount of versions of the story of how you're going to get this bloody box. I try to figure out for players interesting things to do, and then I try to predict how they're going to be doing them, as if they figured out a solution, but I've prepared everything for them so that when they figure out their solution, they get a reward that is better than what they expected.
And that's also with this artifact. They must account for all the possible outcomes to find this box.
I keep on calling it a box, but it really is an artifact. But it used to be a box. We very rarely have things that you must experience, but it's really important that you get this artifact.
This just shows how much he and the team cares about the game. And as I said many times in the past already, player agency is the core of their game design. Even though it costs a lot, and I mean a lot of work.
Our entire design is built around your ability to recover from a catastrophe by doing things that the game allows you to do. And the box is a good example of that, because it involves just a couple of mechanics. You can kill her, you can steal from her, and you can move the objects. And these three things in the hands of a devious player cause a tremendous amount of permutations that we need to cover. There's somebody who has to write all of this dialogue. His name is John. And he just keeps on asking questions about the box. Well, what in this case? And what in this case? And the cases just kept on adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. I was like, oh my God, no, it comes from the sky. It falls on your head. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. But it's too late now. You need to get the box, and Shadowheart, she cannot live without the box. So the box has to be there. You may find yourself playing BG3 in very rare permutations where suddenly you're going to fall on your knees and you're going to need that box, and Shadowheart is going to pop up. I'm here with the box in my hand. Use this box to protect you. And you say, who the hell are you? I followed you and I saw you. So it's a really ridiculous dialogue that really doesn't make that much sense, but it works. I mean, somehow, and it's a very confusing moment. So it might still change, but at this moment, that's the best that we have. I feel shame because I couldn't come up with something better. I mean, because this one is really my doing. It's not the team. Like, I was the idiot that came up with this thing with the box, doing it and giving it to Shadowheart. I know my intentions were noble, but my design was flawed. It's a permutation insanity.
So the box was his idea, and then he follows up by his design was flawed. And although I can see where he's coming from, I think this is top-notch game design. Even forcing it upon the players isn't even flawed by any means. But coming up with so many solutions for you to stumble upon it, even if you try so hard to ignore it, that just deserves my respect. So many different players can discover different outcomes, and based on the game where choice is central, I think Baldur's Gate 3 does an insane job at integrating that into a video game.
How many actual man hours do you think have gone into this?
In the box? I don't want to know. I don't want to know how much man hours went into it, because the pipeline that's behind these things is really big. It's the scripting and the writing, but then there's the voice recording, there's the cinematic design, the lighting, the VFX, the SFX, everything that goes with it, cinematic animation, motion capture, cleaning. I think if they're going to add up everything, it's going to be quite a few man months, if not man year, just because of flawed design. It was a very small thing that we just wanted her to give you the box.
Anyway, I really recommend watching this video from GameSpot. The full credit also goes towards them, since all this information and the interview snippets with Sven is from their video. But since this is still basically some sort of news and very fun to see nonetheless, I still wanted to cover it on my channel. But go see it, it's awesome. I'll leave a link in the description and a pinned comment down below. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 videos and the upcoming patch 8 news. And I will see you next time.